a few opinions on the camera angle, so this time I remember to save it directly from replay, so I can actually adjust some of the camera angles. We've got a pretty good race ahead of us. We have a chance to get a podium, but spoilers, we make a few errors throughout this short, about 9-minute race. But we start off tucking into the slipstream, wanting to be as careful as possible, knowing punts can come up, so brake a little early, just to see what's going to happen in front of us. Everybody tends to go through well there, but we mess up it going into the S's, losing time through the S's. We see the number 2 place car go flying off, and right here I probably should have stayed on it and gone around the outside. Played a little too cautious for him, let him slip in there, and I should probably be in 4th place right now, which allows 6 to get right up on us. Now the next turn's a little tricky, but if you hit it right, you can carry a lot of momentum through this area. As we see, he does not hit it right. Comes back on way out of control. 6th ranked Pouncing. But as we come off super slow, we have very little chance. Get lucky he ghosted, because who knows what that was. Kind of get dove by Tony here. He should give us this outside line, but he decides he's going to run us off the course, so we got to trade paint with him for a little bit. But now we're starting to settle in. Tony's all over the place. We're going to see Tony a lot this race. This turn just crushed me the whole race. I could not get it timed out or anything, but as you'll see from most everybody else, they all had trouble too with it. So 2nd, 3rd, and 4th are all in range. Really just wanting to tuck into this slipstream as best we can right now as we're all racing down the straightaway. It's pretty tight racing with a little gaps. 4th, 5th, and 6th are all real close together as we come around the corners. Losing it completely though. On that corner you cannot let your back wheels touch that little bit of grass or it will spin you back out. As we go through the last chicane, we've given up a lot of time, dropped from 4th down to 6th. Have a decent gap between 6th and 7th, and decent gap between 5th. Mr. AFK chilling on the starting line. And so as we battle through, now we're just trying to put down clean laps. We got no pressure from behind, so if we can just get some clean laps, we can catch back up to Tony. We've seen that he's kind of all over the place. The S's shouldn't be as difficult as I tend to make them every time, but we're doing a pretty decent job going through them this time. You can see we're slowly making up on Tony, but we take a terrible turn here, even having to downshift for a second just to get the RPMs up. Can't really hit the turns right. Looks like he probably gained a little bit of time on us through there, but we've still got this tricky section here where we can definitely make up time as people mess up. But he seems to do a pretty good job going through it. We do a pretty good job going through it. As we see, 7th place is really nowhere to be seen, so it's really a battle of 1st through 5th right here. Just need some clean laps. Going through here, we've caught up a little bit. Need a little bit of mistakes on his end to probably catch us up, and the same turn that's been giving us issues is going to come up and probably make us get a little bit of issues again. And we get a little sideways, which means we lost speed as you heard the tires squeal. But he took a pretty bad turn as well. We're going to get a good exit speed, so we should make up a little bit of time down the straightaway for him as we come down the straightaway. This is an area you really want to be in the slipstream. If they have slipstream and you don't, you're going to lose a little bit of time. Went super careful through the turn there because we saw what happened last time when I tried to overpush it. And now we've actually made up a little bit of ground. If we can get a good exit speed here, we might be able to catch back up to good old Tony. And now we're back up in a slipstream. We got 2 laps to go. Probably not looking for a podium outside of some major mistakes, but really trying to push it here. And this is where mistakes can happen, when you're just trying to drive a little too hard, and then that happens. And then we're right back where we were a lap ago, where he's just out of slipstream, and we're going to have to pray that he makes some mistakes, because otherwise, with no one really in our rearview mirror, it's just a race for fucking 5th at this point. We do see 5th make a mistake, though. Tony gets by him. That's good. Hopefully they battle, because if we can get them to fight each other, that's going to make them run slower laps. And if they run a couple of slow laps, and ooh, he actually gets Tony off the racetrack, so back around him, back into the top 5. Could be worse. Just need to pay attention, not mess up these turns. These are pretty easy turns once you get them down, but if you get on the gas a little bit too early, you can easily spin coming out of either one of those. Now, some people have trouble with this turn, like me, but if you can get a good exit speed here coming into these straightaways, you can make up a lot of time. Now, if you're like me and you take a poor exit speed, it really gives everyone behind you a chance to catch up on you. So at this point, we're thinking, if we can just run some good laps, we only got about 1.5 to go, we can easily get a podium. Even though it wasn't the best turn, it's about the best we've taken it, but we couldn't quite get the apex on the last one to get a good exit speed. And we are just outside of their slipstream, and they're slipstreaming, so gaining on them is going to be damn near impossible. They might even look, it doesn't look like they're slipstreaming behind us. So we're going to try to push it again, and then just as soon as that wheel touches that grass, there's just nothing left that you can do. Thank God I ghosted, or he'd have been exploded. And hey, there's our buddy Tony again inside our car, because we're still ghosted until we get completely clear of everybody. But now we got 1 lap to go. Now we're just pushing to hope to get a top 6. Top 5's looking pretty outside the window, outside of someone driving like I do. But hey, anything top fucking 8 is pretty decent. New to the game, don't worry, we punt him. That is absolutely our fault. So properly, the way people should, we come to a stall, let him take his position back, because that was on us, and then we resume. We could have punted him and just kept racing around the track and tried to take over 5th position, but it's just racing. It's a video game for fun. When you punt someone completely off the track, you should probably give them the position back, if you're in a position to do it. If there's 7 people right behind you, that's just bad luck. But if there's no one pressuring you and you punt the guy, you should pull over to the side and give him the position back, because it's not his fault you drove like shit. It's your fault you drove like shit. Don't be a douchebag. So now we're just hoping that we can somehow catch back up to him. Maybe he takes some slow turns. But otherwise, we're probably looking at about a 7th place finish if he doesn't mess up. And it's not too many difficult turns. There's about 2 difficult turns at the end of the race. So we just want to keep close and hope that he either messes up this nice long turn, then we get a better exit speed so we can take him on the straightaway, or he somehow messes up the chicane at the end of the racetrack. Either one of those are where we can definitely make up time. But if we do this, we're not going to be making up any time. And if this was drift mode, I'd have probably gotten some bonus points, but it's not. It's daily races, so no bonus points for me there. And we're not in a slipstream, so at this point it's just praying to the Gran Turismo gods that he just goes flying off the track or slams into a wall somewhere. Because other than that, and you know, he actually took that turn really poorly. If we'd have taken it better, we probably would have had a chance. 5th is doing some weird stuff right here, though. Can't quite figure out what's going on with him. He was probably trying to run off penalty. He's still trying to run off penalty. And now I'm thinking I might be able to get 5th. It's going to be close. Oh, and Tony edges me out by 100th of a second. But that's racing, boys. Good race. Fun stuff. Relatively clean. Terrible angles. But all in all, it's a pretty fun race.